Well, now let's have a look at our next story, Diane. And this relates to a hammer attack in the United States on the spouse of an important politician.
Yes. So this is in the Sunday Times, and the headline is, America fears hammer attack on Pelosi's husband is only the start of midterm violence. Mm-hmm. So for those of you who are unaware, the US Speaker of the House of Representatives, Nancy Pelosi, she lives in a lovely big house, and a man, David DePape, am I pronouncing that correctly? David DePape?
We'll go with that.
David DePape. He breaks into the house with a hammer, screaming, "Where's Nancy?" Now, this is, I wish it was some kind of pastiche of the musical Oliver. Sadly, it is not. This man, apparently his social media, it suggests that he sort of goes with all the QAnon themes. So he's all about, like, anti-establishment, anti-Semitism, elites, ruling class. And he decided to, again, vigilantism, take matters into his own hands, bust into this person's house with a hammer. I mean, we've had violence on politicians here, and it's not the way forward. And Nancy Pelosi is already quite a divisive kind of figure, but this is just horrendous. And her husband was there, and he is okay. He's in hospital. And to be fair, it is America. I'm kind of relieved he only had a hammer. You know, because you think, out of all the things he could have taken a rocket launcher into the house. He could have taken all sorts of things. And the Bill Scott, bless him, the chief of San Francisco police, said, this was not a random act. This was intentional. Well, get that man a donut. I think you've solved the case, Columbo.
Well, too right. I mean, it's interesting, isn't it? Because online there have been some other conspiracy theories doing the rounds about the context of this attack.
Yes, so there's right-wing conspiracy theories that this was like some sort of gay love affair gone wrong. Essentially, that boils down. I read a really interesting thread online, sort of debunking this conspiracy theory and showing how it all started. It's quite interesting to lay it all out like that. Basically, one of the first reports got it wrong and said that they were both discovered in their underwear, whereas actually it was 2 a.m, so the victim was discovered in. That's what you do, wear your boxers at night. That's what I do anyway. And then they quickly.
See, I'd always hung on to the idea.
I knew I should have mentioned that because you're going to go off the story and start talking about what we wear.
Well,
let's keep on the narrative.
I've always had sort of daydreams that you go commando when you're,
keeping those daydreams
in the dead of night.
If you ever meet me with a hammer, I'll be happy enough to go.
Right, I can show you my hammer.
Yeah. So the point was, this was immediately sort of debunked, and they sort of withdrew that particular claim. It was like this local newspaper, but then conspiracy theorists ran with that to sort of prove that somehow that means that they were actually both in their underwear.
Yeah.
And there's also, they're trying to sort of say that actually he was a left-wing guy, even though, because they're pointing at posts from like 15 years ago. But it just shows the horseshoe theory, which is how the sort of radicalism takes hold. If you believe in this stuff and it takes you all the way round, and suddenly now he believes in paedophiles and that Jews run the world and all this other madness. But it's really interesting to see how this stuff spreads. And then, of course, how Republicans are going to use this to kind of, because they don't want to, because this is now the case, and this is what we see from really the first story, and it's a bit of a theme, I think, through tonight, is that you see mental health issues combined with toxicity of these topics, and it just shows that the rhetoric has an impact in real life.
Indeed so, and it's a very shocking story, and we do wish Mr. Pelosi a swift recovery.